Chapter 4 of Puss in Boots, Jr. in Fairyland. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Puss in Boots, Jr. in Fairyland by David Cory. Chapter 4 The Contented Pig. As Puss, Jr. rode along on the big white circus horse, he came across a little girl who was crying bitterly. At first he thought she was Little Bo Peep, but just then that little yellow bird whose name I am going to tell you some day commenced singing. Little Bo Polly has lost her dolly, and cannot tell where to find her. Let her alone and she'll come home with her two little braids behind her. Little Bo Polly was very jolly until she lost her pet. Then what could she do but cry boo-hoo till her pretty blue eyes were wet? Then back she went on finding bent her precious little token. She found her, indeed, but it made her heart bleed, for Dolly's leg was broken. She gave a sigh and wiped her eye, and ran till the journey was ended, and tried best she could, as a little girl should, to have poor Dolly's leg mended. To the doctor next day she took Dolly straightway, who easily mended her limb, and then after that she bought Dolly a hat with blue ribbon bound round the brim. "I am always forgetting that this is new Mother Goose Land," said Puss, and then he turned to the little girl and told her not to cry any more, but do just as the little yellow bird said, which made the little girl feel ever so much better, and I guess she did, for I heard afterward that Dolly was as good as new and that Little Bo Polly was as happy as could be. "Where shall we go now, my good circus horse?" asked Puss, Jr., and the faithful animal replied, "I will carry you, little master, to yonder town. Do you see the church spire rising above the tree tops?" So by and by they came to a village where the blacksmith put a new shoe on the circus horse and the cobbler a heel on Puss Jr.'s left boot, for it had come off the day before. And while they stood outside the cobbler's shop, who should come by but the pig without a wig? The pig, you remember, whom Puss had met on the way to Zinner. And when he saw the little hero he took off his silk hat and bowed. And do you know, he wasn't bald any more. No, sirree. And do you know, he had a lot of lovely hair on the top of his head, and he told Puss that ever since the day he had moved to New Mother Goose Country he had to have his hair cut twice a week. Wasn't that curious? It only goes to show what a change in climate will do for a pig. "Are you happy?" asked Puss, for he had grown wise enough to know that happiness is everything in this world. "Well, I should say so," replied the pig, placing his silk hat carefully on his head and winking at the circus horse, who smiled as only a horse can. "Mrs. Pig and I have 5 little pigs and a house in the country, and next month I'm going to buy an automobile." And in the next story I'll tell you how happy Puss was to meet an old friend. End of chapter 4.